Good morning, everybody. And thank you for coming to our wonderful Adobe here at SEIU USWW, home of the fighting janitors, security officers, airport workers, and retail workers who are right now in the midst of this pandemic, but see hope on the way because of what we're doing here today. Before we get started, though, I'd like to get a report from folks who have been running the operation to be able to give you both the 30,000-foot level of what's happening inside of this building next door and what we have delivered to both our members and community over the last 4 days. So first, I'd like to bring up Carmen, or are we going with Carmen? Yeah, Veronica. Okay. So first, I'd like to introduce Veronica Verde, our FEMA representative, to give a first report on the collaboration between ourselves and FEMA in making this happen. Where's Veronica? There she is.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Veronica Verde with FEMA. Just wanted to say that this is all part of President Biden's goal to open up 100 federally supported vaccine sites in 100 days of his presidency. Last Tuesday on February 16th, we opened up a vaccine site at Cal State LA. It was a drive-through and a walk-up for people who cannot drive. They have the ability to come to the site to get vaccinated. There is myturn.ca.gov is a way that people can register to get vaccinated to go to Cal State LA. Additionally, there are 2 mobile vaccine clinics that are out in the communities. We're working really closely with the city and the county of Los Angeles, Mayor Garcetti's office, the County Board of Supervisors Solis's office, to make sure that we are trying to reach the most hardest hit areas that have been affected by COVID-19. Together we can fight this pandemic. We're going to continue to reach out to the community-based organizations to get people vaccinated and to help fight the pandemic. One of the things these mobile clinics are doing are going into the communities where people are hardest to reach. So we are working closely with the Governor's California Office of Emergency Services to reach out to these communities. Now in this site, what you're seeing is community-based organizations have actually called out to their own members to come and get vaccinated. So people don't need to show up here at the mobile vaccine clinic sites, but it is an opportunity for us to be able together to go out into those communities and get individuals vaccinated. And so together, I just wanted to say that we are here working together very closely with the California Office of Emergency Services, the National Guard, Department of Defense, Cal State LA, and many other partners.
Good morning. Following FEMA, our partner here with these clinics, I want to speak specifically to the mobile vaccine clinics and what we're doing with respect to delivering these vaccinations to the public through our OES FEMA partnership. We have 2, Veronica mentioned 2 clinics that we've set up. We have a 3rd clinic that's going to be starting on on Tuesday morning. We're going to start up a 3rd. We have 3 of these. We work with our community-based organizations, as she said, to partner with these clinics. They bring us the patients. Our team works them through the process, gets the vaccinations, delivering them specifically to our underserved communities within the city and county of Los Angeles. Today we have the clinic set up here in partnership with the SEIU. We have a 2nd clinic set up in the city of Paramount doing the exact same things that we're doing here at this site, at another site, and we continue to rotate through a number of community-based organizations. Will continue to do that throughout this pandemic. We appreciate the partnership. She mentioned the National Guard, the Department of Defense, obviously my FEMA partners. We also have a number of partners, volunteer service from AmeriCorps, our nurses staff, our contracted nurses staff from throughout the country. AMR, American Medical Response, is our vaccinating team here at this particular site today, again from all throughout the country. We have my partners for CAL FIRE, other partners from Cal OES, both the fire side, fire and rescue where I'm from, as well as our law enforcement team and others through our emergency management side of the house to provide the services that you have today. Happy to be here, happy to work with the community partners and deliver these vaccines and get ahead of this pandemic and do the things that we need to do to move beyond and have a healthy community. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, John. I'm going to take my mask off. And thank you again to FEMA and the governor's office for making this operation possible. Again, good morning. My name is David Huerta, president of SEIU USWW. And our members are janitors, security officers, airport passenger service workers, as well as custodial retail workers, predominantly black and brown workers who have been providing essential services such as disinfection, social monitoring, and security throughout the state. Since day one of this pandemic, our members have been in both public and private spaces, from high-rise buildings to bio and high-tech campuses to hospitals and airports throughout California. We are the essential workers who have kept our economy afloat in the midst of so much uncertainty. I want to thank every one of our elected leaders, our member leaders, and labor leaders here today to both observe the work that we have done over the last 4 days, to vaccinate essential black and brown workers, citizens and immigrants alike, but most importantly, to continue to lift the partnership and the prioritization of essential workers, and particularly workers of color. It's no secret that communities of color have been the hardest hit by this pandemic. Our communities have taken the brunt of the deaths and suffering of this devastating virus and compounded the social economic equities we are facing before and during COVID-19. We at USWW is proud to offer a vaccination program that's rooted in community, has helped bridge the digital divide and overcome the language and cultural barriers that have prevented communities of color from accessing the vaccine. It's hard, but it's the work that USWW knows. We know that when our members mobilize for our communities, we win. We know that when our members say ya basta, we overcome. And we know that when we partner with federal, state, and local governments, we can be part of the solution in order to ensure that we approach vaccination with a lens of equity. This week alone, in collaboration with our partners MCTF and BSP, we were able to assist 1,000 janitors, airport workers, and security officers in vaccinating them here at our Union Hall. And we assisted hundreds more with vaccination programs across LA County. Today feels like a new day for essential workers who received the Pfizer vaccine over the last 4 days. The essential workers who have been carrying our collective water throughout this pandemic are feeling the collective sense of relief that they will survive this pandemic. Unfortunately, for many, the vaccine came too late. For many, far too many essential workers are dead or have lost family members as a result of this virus. Ironically, the mortuary just across the street from this office, a member of our union, Edgar Fino, is being eulogized today after more than 30 years of working as a janitor, and he lost his battle with COVID-19 in early January. Black and brown essential workers who work in low-wage industries have faced so many challenges during this pandemic. Many have been forced to fight their employers for the personal protective equipment that they need to do their job safely. They have had to fight for paid quarantine so they don't have to make the decisions between personal health and the health of others, or being able to feed their families. And they have faced the fear of living in multi-generational households and bringing home the virus vulnerable to family members. They face all of this while working every day to make sure our economy continues to move forward. We owe it to all these essential workers to make sure that they and their families are protected. Our focus is to make sure that every essential worker has access to a vaccine to protect themselves and their families. We need to do better for our essential workers. Before the pandemic, the life of essential workers in low-wage industries, who are predominantly black and brown, had been a struggle for survival. Workers have been working with substandard wages, working without access to employer-paid health care, which has led to the pre-existing conditions that made COVID so deadly, have been victims of predatory employers who exploit workers and steal wages. And as our Ya Basta campaign revealed, immigrant women who are vulnerable to sexual assault in the workplace by supervisors who exploit them based on their immigrant status. But today, We lift the public-private partnership in ensuring that all essential workers, and particularly communities of color, receive the vaccine. And this operation is the best example of how when we work together, we can do the impossible. I want to thank Governor Newsom for his leadership in making this mobile vaccine unit possible. Secretary Yolanda Richardson for working with us directly in making this operation possible. And FEMA and all the nurses, translators, fire and emergency service workers for their time and effort in making this effort so successful. And most of all, the staff and rank and file members of SEIU for pulling this effort off. What seemed almost impossible on Saturday has now been touted as a model operation and the best example of what is possible when we work together to save lives. ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? So, gracias a todos que están aquí hoy día. Hoy día es un alivio para nuestra comunidad. Ha sido una lucha para llegar a este día, que para 1,000 miembros y casi 1,500 miembros reciban la vacuna. Trabajadores esenciales que han estado luchando día tras día, sufriendo lo que es esta pandemia, muertos de familia, porque ellos son los trabajadores esenciales que han estado trabajando diario, asegurando que esta economía se mueve adelante y que este país se mueve adelante. Y nosotros estamos aquí, queremos agradecer FEMA, queremos agradecer al gobernador, queremos agradecer el alcalde, queremos agradecer los enfermeras, los bomberos, todos los que están aquí sacando este esfuerzo adelante. Es triste saber tantos muertos que ha habido en esta pandemia. Y hoy día ahorita vamos a estar en un servicio para un compañero de 30 años que vamos a estar con él hoy día en el mortuario que está aquí alrededor de la oficina. Pero nosotros tenemos que asegurar todos los trabajadores esenciales tienen la vacuna, que todos los trabajadores, no importa si ustedes sean inmigrantes o sean ciudadanos de este país, que pueden recibir esa vacuna, y esto es el mejor ejemplo de ese esfuerzo. Gracias. Y ahora quiero presentar una compañera de este unión, Janitor Tepesana, Carmen Sanchez, por unos comentarios. And now I'd like to invite Carmen Sanchez, a member of our union, as well as a TPS recipient, for his comments on the efforts we have done this week.
Muy buenos días, compañeros. Mi nombre es Carmen Sánchez. Tengo 9 años trabajando como janitor. Hoy este día me siento muy contenta.
Hello, my name is Carmen Sanchez. I've been working as a janitor for 9 years, and I'm very happy to be here with you, healthy and safe.
Y agradecida con mi sindicato, con el gobernador y con todas las personas con las que se ha trabajado mano a mano para poder ayudarnos ahorita con la situación de la vacuna.
I feel incredibly grateful to our governor, to my union, and to everybody who is here today who has made these efforts and collaboration possible so that I could receive the vaccine this week.
Yo como teperciana y como trabajadora esencial, estoy muy agradecida por la oportunidad que se me ha dado. Hoy este día yo me puse mi vacuna, la cual me siento muy agradecida.
I have double status. I am a TPS, Temporary Protected Status worker, but I am also an essential service worker as a janitor. And I feel very proud that I was able to receive my vaccine at this site in collaboration with all these agencies.
Hoy me siento tranquila de ir a mi trabajo, porque sé que protejo a mis compañeros, porque sé que voy a proteger a mi familia de la situación que se está viviendo por la pandemia y no tener más temor de ir todos los días a trabajar.
I finally can say that I feel safe. I feel safe going back to work and cleaning these buildings. I feel safe because I know that I no longer have to be afraid of dying or catching this from the rest of my coworkers. I have peace that I have finally been looking for because I have this vaccine.
Al protegerme a mí, no solo me protegen a mí, me protegen a mi familia, a mis compañeros de trabajo, a los ancianos que están alrededor mío. Y por eso yo este día le doy gracias al trabajo que ha hecho mi sindicato ACLU por la oportunidad que nos ha dado de tener la seguridad de que podemos trabajar tranquilamente.
By protecting me, you're not just protecting a janitor. You're protecting all of my family. You're protecting everyone I come into contact with. You are protecting the elderly that live around me and that I come in contact with. I am very happy to have the vaccine because I finally feel protected and feel safe.
Hoy quiero pedirles que nos donen más vacunas. Necesitamos más vacunas. Necesitamos proteger a nuestros compañeros y a sus familias, que es algo muy importante.
I am asking everyone here today to work together so that we can get more vaccines, with essential service workers who have been working since the pandemic started, so that all of my coworkers and workers like me can feel safe.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Carmen Sanchez. Now it's my great pleasure to be able to bring up to the podium LA County Supervisor from the 1st District, Hilda Solis.
Thank you so much, David Huerta, President for SEIU USWW, for giving me the opportunity to come here along with my colleagues, Assemblymember Reggie Jones, Councilmember Gil Cedillo, and of course our LA Federation President Ron Herrera, and especially all the FEMA, Cal OES, the AmeriCorps, and all our brothers and sisters that have come here today. This is what the future should look like when we turn out to help our community. Our Latino and African American community have really been pillared for the last year. We've lost so many lives, to go way beyond what has happened nationally, and 500,000 and more people have lost their lives. But here in LA County, a high proportion of people of color, African American and Latino, have lost their lives, and they continue to lose their lives. One thing is sure, this works. When we come together and get the vaccine in people's arms right away, that's what matters. But here the difference has changed. People can't jump in front of the line anymore. When it happens at a granular level, that's when we truly make the vaccine count, and we will save more lives. These are all essential workers, airport workers, janitorial staff, people that work in healthcare. These are the frontline people that have been out there, the invisible faces that people didn't want to see, but they are there. Through thick and thin, they have put their lives at stake for us. That's why I stand here in solidarity with my brothers and sisters, knowing that we have a lot more to do. In the coming months, we're going to be rolling out more of these mobile clinics. We're going to be in East LA, we're going to be in Southeast LA, South Central, we're going to be in Pacoima, we're going to be in all those hot spots. That's where the epicenter is. And the County of Los Angeles is going to work with our new administration. I've never seen such intensity in the first, not even 100 days. And look what's happening. We're already seeing miracles occurring, and they're happening. The first rollout was at Cal State LA, and it started out in communities like Ramona Garden and Bell, and now we take it to a different level. And working with our partners, that's what's going to make the difference. So I want to say thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with our brothers and sisters and our partners across the federal government, the state government, and all of our CBOs. Let the call be made clear. Come and get your vaccine. Quiero decir brevemente que estoy muy agradecida de estar aquí hoy día con el sindicato de SEIU, especialmente con los líderes y también los elegidos que están aquí, pero más importante el gobernador Gavin Newsom y el presidente Biden, que nos ha hecho un gran milagro, dándonos esta oportunidad de tener las vacunas para nuestros trabajadores esenciales. Les quiero dar agradecer a todos ellos y que sigamos luchando y que sí se puede. Muchas gracias.
Now it's also my great pleasure to also bring up to the podium Assembly Member from the 59th District, Reggie Jones Sawyer.
I'm extremely proud today as a retiree from SEIU 721 to be here to let people know what labor can do when you add them to the fight, especially a fight of the epic proportions like right now. I've been in that room USWW to fight for wages, to fight for benefits, to just fight for people's rights. Right now, USWW is saving lives in that room. I don't think you heard me. They're saving lives. And that's what it's all about. Not only did we put together a consortium of FEMA, OES, LA Fire, and others to make sure that this community has the resources that they need to be able to fight this pandemic, but we're providing it to African American and Latino communities that have not only been underserved, but they've been underserved when it comes to this pandemic. And if you give those resources to people who know the people that live in this community, that live south of me in South Los Angeles, you will get the medications out quicker, faster, and directly to the people that need them. I went to 42nd in Avalon. I remember seeing that line going all the way around Kedron Community Center. And I remember seeing more Teslas, Mercedes, Lexuses, more people that didn't look like anybody that lived in that community than I did in Beverly Hills trying to get vaccines. That's got to stop. The medicines need to go to where it needs to go the most. So I'm going to continue to tell the governor to do these mobile clinics and to continue to work with my colleagues in the city and in the county to find out where they need to go. Don't depend on some bureaucrat up in Sacramento. Talk to the people here where they need to go, and I guarantee you they will get to where they need to go. Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to bring up a member of our organization, security officer, Robert Branch.
Good morning. My name is Robert Branch. As President Huerta stated, I am a security officer in the downtown Los Angeles area, and I am a proud member of SEIU USWW. I want to thank the mayor, Governor Newsom, FEMA, and all government agencies that partnered with us to make this all happen. It's because of you that we have been benefited. And you know, I was at the back of the line. My Hispanic brothers and sisters were at the back of the line. But you helped and brought us to the front of the line. You know, if I had two stickers, one would say, I voted, and the other one say, I got vaccinated. What our union has done, President Huerta, your executive team, your staff, is beyond words. I protect people for a living. But you have protected me from this deadly virus. I work to keep people out of harm's way, but you snatched me away from what could have taken my life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Now, I have the pleasure now to introduce a long ally of this organization, LA City Council member of the 1st District, Gil Cedillo.
David Huerta, thank you. I don't think many people know that you battled COVID-19, and it is a blessing and God's will that you are here to continue with your leadership. I have only one thing to say, and it's abundantly clear, and it is that leadership matters. That's the difference here today. This reminds me of the gatherings we had after the earthquake in '92, when people came together, independent of political party, because there was a disaster that was impacting our community. And I remember the governor's office. I remember FEMA. I remember Dick Reardon and the City Council. And I remember SEIU and the unions. Everybody came together so that we could recover from that natural disaster. And finally, with great blessings, we have leadership now in Washington. We have people who care about the people of this country. And thankfully, with that leadership, FEMA is here today. We have leadership in Sacramento. And Governor Newsom is doing all that he can, collaborating and working with DC to make sure that we have the resources that are essential. This is not a difficult challenge, but for the absence of leadership. We are all interconnected. We are all interrelated. If the janitor who lives in one of the densest neighborhoods who does not receive his vaccine, he brings that home. That person then goes to someone else's home to clean their home, to take care of their children, to bag their groceries, and to clean their office. That disease then spreads. It's not that difficult. We are all interconnected. We are all interrelated. With the leadership, Mayor Eric Garcetti, the leadership of Ron Herrera, and labor, it's not that hard. Who do the people have confidence in? They have confidence in their unions, in their churches, and their neighborhood clinics. They don't need to get on a computer to try to figure out where to go. They know where they want to go. They know what's close in their neighborhood. Over 1,000 people have passed in this neighborhood. This is tragic because there's resources here, and we see it today. This is the embodiment of organizational leadership. This is what happens when people come together, pull their resources, are honest with the challenge that confronts us. This is a great nation. This is a great city. This is a great union. I worked for SEIU for 12 years. Not a detail is going to be missed, trust me. They know how to organize. They know how to mobilize. And they know how to talk to their membership. No one's butting in line here. I am equally appalled at that sense of entitlement. I don't want to dwell on it. But we are in a crisis, and there is greater efficacy. There's greater efficiency when you target the most vulnerable, because they ensure that others' lives are saved. And so we must keep that in mind. Quiero decir gracias a todos que están aquí. Gracias por el liderazgo y presencia de David Huerta, porque todos saben que él encontraron el COVID-19. Gracias a Ron Herrera por su presencia. Siempre está con los trabajadores, el líder de todos nosotros. Pero también quiero decir gracias a todos que están aquí de sus agencias de FEMA, del Estado, de Servicio de Emergencias, de la ciudad, de los bomberos, porque toda la comunidad tiene confianza en ellos. Y no es un problema muy difícil. Todo lo que faltan es el liderazgo. Pero gracias a Dios hoy tenemos este liderazgo en la Casa Blanca, en Sacramento, aquí en Los Ángeles y aquí en este lugar, el edificio y el lugar del sindicato de SEIU. Gracias a todos ustedes. Vamos a ganar cuando estamos luchando. ¿Cómo dice? Ganamos. Cuando luchando, ganamos. Cuando luchando, ganamos. Gracias.
I forget. Thank you, Gil. And now it's my honor to bring up a voice of labor, not just here in Los Angeles, but throughout the country, but most importantly, really a voice of labor for all of LA County. My friend, colleague, and president of the LA County Federation of Labor, Ron Herrera.
Good morning, everyone. I want to first start out by thanking all the workers inside this building for doing God's work. I want to thank all the speakers here, all the electeds that have gathered here today, because this is an extremely important event. I'm Ron Herrera. I'm the president of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor and also a Teamsters International vice president. Today I stand before you humbled and proud that the legacy of my friend, my comrade in arms, and my brother, Mike Garcia, lives on. 250 daily vaccines are administered here, not only to USWW members, but to the community. On this site that my brother Mike built. And I personally applaud the staff here, President David Huerta, for being in the forefront of this fight to protect his members and all essential workers in this state. At a time when USWW members were less than prioritized, President Huerta, political director Sister Sandra Diaz, and the staff here spoke up, spoke out. If it hadn't been for them lifting their voices, their members wouldn't be vaccinated here today. And I want to give a special shout out to the governor of this great state, Governor Newsom, for listening and having the compassion to recognize the importance of making this USWW office a vaccination site to protect workers and the community here. Over the last year, we have faced one of the toughest battles of our lives, with everyone hoping for a quick return to normality. In my own family, we talk about normal times, but through the lens of an essential worker, normal has become synonymous with the high probability of infection and even the possibility of death from COVID-19. It means layoffs, no money to pay the rent, and for some, food insecurity. For too many workers, normal is just a daily survival. But in the labor movement, you are never forgotten. And what does this mean? Simple. This local union never forgot its members. They are saving lives here today through this vaccination. We are at a time of depression, but USWW has created hope for their members. And in the end, LA Union, as we are known as, the LA labor movement, and all its community family, will never leave any worker behind, whether documented or undocumented, whether brown or black, or for that matter, any ethnicity. Labor and its affiliates, like USWW, are here to speak out, shout out the true definition of the importance of an essential worker. In closing, please do not ignore communities and workers of color. We are vital to this economy and the most important component to rebound this economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Ron. And so that closes our press conference. I'd like again to thank FEMA. I'd like to thank OIS for the work they've done here today. I'd like to thank President Biden, because I think Gil, you and I spoke earlier this week, and Gil Cedillo said something to me that has resonated since then. It feels as if the Calvary is on its way. And this is the Calvary. And this is the Calvary for all of us, but most importantly, essential workers, so that we know that we have a fighting chance to survive this pandemic. I'd like to thank all of our public officials who are here today. I'd like to thank Ron from the LA Fed for being a voice for working people. And most importantly, I'd like to thank all the staff from USWW and our members from USWW for being so courageous to be out there every day, doing what they can to secure, to disinfect, to ensure social distancing, to make sure that we keep this economy going. And when this economy gets back, let's not forget the essential worker and make sure the essential worker is taken care of first. So I'd like to thank everybody again for coming. And ¿se puede? Cuando peleamos? Cuando peleamos? When we fight? When we fight? Thank you.